Pharma Forum web editor Nicole Raleigh, and I am on site in Princeton, New Jersey for the Axtria Ignite 2025 conference. And today I'm speaking with the winners of the Axtria Ignite Leadership Awards, one of whom is with me right now, and that is Ritesh Mehra, who is CFO US for Ferring Pharmaceuticals. Pleasure to speak with you, Ritesh.
Very nice to speak to you, Nicole.
So, industry can fairly be said to have embraced AI and is quickly advancing from generative AI or GenAI towards agentic AI. And I was wondering if you could speak to this advancement, Ritesh, perhaps giving an example of what has changed for your team thus far and what changes do you yet anticipate?
Cool. Thank you for that question. For me, the biggest evolution we are seeing is in the last 5 to 6 years, we've been spending time on visualization of data. There's a lot of how do you take data and visualize so that it's easy to digest. I think the next step of that journey is how do you actually take that data and helps you with predictive data, right? How does that data then help you not only in looking nice, so it's easy to digest, but actually to be able to help with decision making? And there are many tools that we are looking into that. Um, it can be as sophisticated as a Gen AI agent doing that, or it could be a simple Excel spreadsheet that helps you create a predictive model. The forms varies, but I think the whole evolution of decision making out of data is becoming more and more important as we go through that journey.
Thank you for that, Ritesh. So, I believe at the same time, industry is also trying to engage more directly with patients. So, do you think it's been successful thus far?
I think on mass production of drugs, yes, if you are treating large scale medicine, so DTC helps in terms of awareness. Does it really tell the patient when it gets a little bit more complicated or get into the rare disease? It's a challenge in that space. The journey for me is DTC creates the awareness, then you have to get into the physician or go onto the company website or product website to be able to get more information. So I think there's still a lot of work to be done there.
But agentic AI can help in this regard, can't it?
Absolutely, it can help if we can pinpoint the patient. So, we talk a lot about personalized medicine. It's about personalized patient.
Yes.
How do you find the right patient that can actually benefit from your own medicine?
So, in this regard, also, industry is making great strides, moving from traditional treatments to new advanced therapies. So, we're talking about the rare disease space, we're talking about orphan drugs, and as was discussed this morning in the panel with our editor in chief, Jonah Comstock, cell and gene therapies.
Right.
But the question is, what would ensure better success here? For instance, what changes are needed in terms of commercialization?
I think if you talk about gene and cell therapy, there's the cost of delivering that medicine is still very, very high, right? So I think the industry needs to do a better job of finding ways to reduce that cost. Awareness of those is also a lot less. So while the science is very increasing, is the patient outcome and how the journey of that patient outcome, has that been transitioned yet or not? I think that's another piece of the paradigm shift that needs to happen from an industry perspective. Then as soon as you get into rare disease, you need to be looking at the patient, the ability to be able to reach that patient. It just becomes much more challenging just because the number of patients are a lot less. How do you create clinical trials? So as the regulatory authorities need to look at how do you approach a rare disease, I think there's a lot of work that can help in order to encourage science and commercialization to progress in that space.
So with that progression and expanding in that space more successfully, going back to agentic AI and its role, what about the culture of bringing in agentic AI in order to address these issues? Can you tell me more about that?
I'll tell you from my personal experience. I think we all believe using these agents will solve the problem. I think my approach is not about solving the problem. My approach is how do I use them to classify the problems, create the variables. You still need that person, the individual, to be able to help solve the problem. The agentic AI success story to me is the paradigm of options that it can provide to me much quicker. So it helps me think through certain problems, right? The end goal still needs to come from a person who's managing that. I think there's a lot that it can do in that space.
So human in the loop still.
Absolutely.
So going back to what you just said, also problem solving and accelerated time frames for that problem solving brings me to my last question.
Sure.
What other major challenges are you facing in your role that we haven't yet mentioned today?
To me, it's the journey.
Mhm.
I think we're all jumping for the perfect solution. We need to learn, pivot, learn, pivot, learn, pivot.
Okay.
Right? And it becomes challenging for some smaller organization. I come from a smaller organization, medium-sized organization. So the time to that evolution, do we have that patience to be able to go through that? How quickly do you do it? What kind of data do you can digest? To me, I think that journey, and we have to be patient and be a part of that. You can't wait for the end to come. So you need to evolve as this space is evolving.
Evolve, learn, pivot,
Absolutely.
and be patient.
Come back to learn, evolve, and pivot again.
Thank you very much, Ritesh. It's been a pleasure.
Very nice to see you.